Hi everyone and welcome back to Emmylou Books. In today's video I am going to be reviewing Archenemies by Marissa Meyer. So for some reason, I don't know why, but every time I talk about this book I always say arch nemesis, and I think I've said it in every other video that I've recorded when I've been talking about this book, but it is Archenemies, and for some reason I read it as arch nemesis, so I just wanted to get that out the way. Archenemies, mostly for me than for you, Archenemies, because every time I look at the book I always want to say arch nemesis. But anyway, so today I'm going to be talking about Archenemies, and I'm going to be saying the good, the bad, things that I was a little bit disappointed by, and things that I really liked about this book. So firstly, I absolutely loved Archenemies. It was a fantastic sequel to Renegades. But like with anything, nothing's ever perfect, and there were some things that I did find a little bit disappointing. And this isn't anything necessarily negative, it's just things that as a reader I wanted to see happen and just unfortunately didn't happen. So before I go on any further, this is going to be a spoiler video, so if you haven't read the book and you don't want to know anything that happens, then now will be a good time to switch off, and then you can come back and view the video once you've read the book. So I'm going to start with the negatives, or like I said, not so much negatives, but things that I was disappointed by. We're 2 books in now, and Nova still doesn't know that Adrian is the Sentinel, and Adrian still doesn't know that Nova is Nightmare. I found this a little bit infuriating, to be honest, because they're so close to knowing, and yet it just doesn't happen in this book, and I guess I just assumed that this would be the book where there would be the big reveal, and it just didn't happen. Having said that, Marissa Meyer did give us something to kind of chew over before we get book 3, and I'm guessing book 3 is going to be finally the book where Nova and Adrian find out about each other's identity. But right at the end of Archenemies, Adrian's friends Oscar and Ruby do find out about his identity as the Sentinel. It's kind of washed over and it kind of goes past quite quickly. Like, obviously there was a little bit of shock, but mostly it's just like, hi, you're the Sentinel. Meh. And for Nova, Dana is suspicious from Nova. Her suspicion kind of grows throughout the book. Nova is not happy about the Agent N program, and she doesn't exactly keep her thoughts to herself during meetings and things like that. So Dana, who is another renegade, does become suspicious of Nova, and right at the sort of middle to end of the book, Nova is with the rest of the anarchists, and she does see a butterfly that turns out to be Dana. So what we can gather from that is that Dana knows that Nova is Nightmare and that she's working for the other team, and obviously Adrian's friends know that he is the Sentinel. So those are the only sort of things that I found disappointing about the book. Everything else was absolutely incredible. I know a lot of people say when they read books that, oh, I just couldn't put it down, but literally I could not put this book down. I was reading it anywhere that I could, in the car, in bed. It was the last thing that I thought about when I went to sleep, and I woke up in the morning and I just wanted to read more and more. It's the plot is really good, and the character development is really good. They didn't sacrifice the character for the plot in this book. Both are really, really strong. And you can feel a sense of urgency kind of growing throughout the book, as you're sort of waiting for something big to happen. And obviously there is sort of a kind of development with Max in the book that I did really, really enjoy. So Adrian finds a pendant, and I think that he is led to it by Nova, who is working in the artifacts department. And basically it means that he can be around his younger brother Max without being harmed. And I really, really enjoyed that aspect of the book. Seeing Adrian and Max bond, and also seeing Max bond with his dads as well, was really, really a sweet moment in the book. And there were lots of really, really sweet moments, but there were also a lot of intense moments. So one of the moments that I really, really did feel sort of on the edge of my seat is when Nova stays the night at Adrian's mansion. This was really, really tense because not only does she stay the night, but she also has dinner with Adrian and his dads, and you can just sort of feel the tension growing and growing because Nova's hatred it's not towards Adrian or necessarily her friends. It's mostly aimed at Adrian's dads because they are the leaders of the renegades. Captain Cronin is obviously the big superhero, and it's really them that her anger is aimed at. So you can just sort of feel when she's sitting down for dinner that her anger sort of growing and the resentment growing even more. And that was a really intense scene that I really enjoyed seeing sort of being unraveled. So all in all, I gave Archenemies 5 stars. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I didn't get the big reveal that I wanted, but nevertheless, I was still really, really satisfied with the book as a whole. Obviously, I can't wait for book 3. I don't know when it comes out. Hopefully it will be this year, because if it's next year, that's going to be a really, really long and horrible wait. So yeah, I'm guessing book 3 is going to be when Nova discovers about Adrian and Adrian discovers about Nova, and I cannot wait to read it and see their reactions and what happens. So that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you very soon for another video.